Hey guys, today let's take a look at Unseen Strike, the tier 4 skill from the Ghost Tree. Unseen Strike was released in update 100 and has gone through a few different patches and fixes. Regrettably, it's still not totally fixed, but it's getting there. So to start, let's find out more about this skill. Unseen Strike, like Low Blow, is a powerful skill because of critical hits. Due to the headshot bonuses, damage from critical hits far outweighs any weapon-specific damage boosts, like Overkill Basic for shotguns. Also, critical hits to the heads are absurdly powerful because they are multiplied together instead of added up. For example, a Heavy Zeal has a headshot multiplier of 3 without helmet popping. Instead of 3 plus 3 for 6, we actually get 3 times 3 instead. So how is Unseen Strike different from Low Blow? Low Blow is activated by the total detection risk, while Unseen Strike is activated by not taking damage for 4 seconds. And since activating Unseen Strike is not tied to the detection risk, it works with any armor and also allows you to bring fully optimized weapons, rather than bringing half-assed weapons fitted for concealment. That means it's the only way for heavier armors to deal crits, which for me is awesome. Of course, that's not to say it doesn't work with Low Blow. If you combine it with Low Blow, you can increase your crit rate to a maximum of 65%, and that will increase your damage output significantly. Lastly, since it's not tied to a specific weapon or fire mod or detection risk, you have a lot more freedom in choosing your weapons, including your melee. And now we're done with the why it's good, so let's go to the how it works. And now here's a diagram of how it worked before. Not the prettiest diagram, but it should be good enough to explain. So at the start of the heist, we begin with the Can Activate. Then the skill becomes active after 4 seconds of not taking damage. At this point in active, if we take damage, the skill will be deactivated and will jump back to Can Activate. Otherwise, it will expire on its own after 6 or 18 seconds and become inactive. Then we have to take damage again before it can go back to Can Activate. This is the first problem right here. With how often we take damage in Loud, acing the skill makes no difference. And the second problem is when the skill expires on its own. Instead of going straight back to Can Activate, you have to take damage first and then wait for 4 seconds before you can activate it again. Imagine situations like Watch Dogs Day 1, Beneath the Mountain, in between the first and second area, or the second and third area. You'll be forced to take damage and hide before fighting, while your teammates would have already charged to the objective. And then we arrive to now, which is about update 165. So what's fixed probably around update 157, that's when BLT 2.0 came out, is that the skill can no longer be interrupted by taking damage. The skill will now always expire peacefully on its own. So the skill description in the game is not valid anymore, and acing the skill now makes a difference. So hooray, right? Well, it's still a step away from being ideal. What would be ideal is to take away the inactive state so that it goes back to Can Activate immediately after expiring, which basically is fixing the second problem mentioned earlier. The irony here is that problem 2 didn't exist when Unseen Strike was first released in update 100 and only came about when Overkill tried to fix problem 1. So let's hope it gets fixed properly the next time. So before we end, I'm going to do a self-asked Q&A to answer some questions that you might have. Question: can the ability refresh itself indefinitely? For example, if in the active state you never take damage at all, will it keep refreshing itself? No, you can never prolong the effect. It must expire after 6 or 18 seconds and then go back to Can Activate. Of course, Overkill might change how it works in the future. Question: so when activated, taking damage will not cancel the effect? Yep, the in-game description is not updated yet. I hope this is an intended fix and Overkill will leave it alone. So in that case, is it better to ace it? The basic version works pretty well on its own, so it's not like Body Expertise where you either ace it or not take it at all. So Unseen Strike aced? Optional. Unseen Strike versus weapon specific skill, for example Overkill Basic, Body Expertise or Trigger Happy. It depends on what you're trying to play. Trying to take both is a lot of skill points. If you take Unseen Strike alone, you could use almost all weapons, assuming you go for headshots, compared to specializing in one type. You could also do a hybrid, for example taking Unseen Strike then just the reload speed boost for shotguns, or Unseen Strike with some tier 3 pistol skills. So yep, I hope Unseen Strike will serve you just as well as it serves me. Drop me a comment if you have any questions regarding Unseen Strike that I didn't answer, assuming I have an answer for it. Otherwise, have a good day or night, and I'll see you in my next video.